Doesn't it feel like there's a new personal crisis happening every day? And sometimes there's more than one. The list goes on. There are bills, complicated relationships, pressure at work, attempts to steal your identity and your money, never-ending activities for your kids, and there's lots and lots of bad news.
The gunman pleaded guilty to 25 counts.
All of these everyday stressors can take a toll on your mental health, so much so that some behavioral experts decided to study it. Cue Dr. Susan Charles.
How you emotionally respond to these types of stressors that most of us experience about 2 or 3 times in a typical week. So the degree to which we respond to these relatively minor stressors actually create this wear and tear that increase our likelihood to have worse physical health and mental health.
Researchers asked more than 700 participants how everyday stressors like arguments or broken home appliances impacted their day and emotions.
I call it the stickiness of these emotions. These emotions stuck with them. When you get more upset, when you get more angry, when you get more sad or anxious because a stressor has happened in your life, the degree to which you became more upset or more angry or more sad, more negative, that degree was related to having worse mental health.
And the current state of our communities, our country, or our world isn't helping much. There's inflation, political turmoil, unprecedented weather events, social injustices about everywhere you look. And don't even get me started on the COVID-19 pandemic. In March of 2022, the World Health Organization released a scientific brief. It estimated a 25% increase in depression and anxiety worldwide. The director of WHO even said that this was just the tip of the iceberg, and that this is a wake-up call to all countries to pay more attention to mental health.
But then you have family obligations, finances, debt, student loan, relationship stress, oppression of any form, educational stressors, health, and then social media is one of the biggest ones, especially given the fact of how much access we have. We can get on social media and see people living the lives that we want.
Keenan's a therapist. He talks about this kind of stuff all the time.
So I think about it similar to like a snowy mountaintop where it keeps falling, it keeps falling, it keeps falling. Eventually gravity and avalanche happens. And so I think about that with a cascading of emotions where we only have so much capacity as people that we can take before we just have an emotional letdown or that emotional avalanche where it's like, we only have so much bandwidth.
That's why we have to check in with our emotions and be honest about how we're feeling. Just because you haven't been diagnosed with something doesn't mean you have great mental health.
We know that disorder, like for example, depression, isn't either you're depressed or not. Everyone goes on a continuum. So everyone falls along this kind of normative pattern. And it's only when you get to the tail ends of this that you really have severe depression.
Each person's journey is different based off their experiences in their childhood, throughout their life, ethnicity, race, culture, all those things intersect because they're all intertwined.
And all of that unchecked frustration, hurt, or anger can affect our mental state, our relationships, as well as our bodies.
Stress can manifest in physiological symptoms such as muscle tension, heart palpitations, fluctuating appetite, joint pain and stiffness, inflammation, headaches, and just overall weakening of the immune system.
So to stay mentally and physically fit, it's important to have a self-care routine and take some time for yourself. Meditate, journal, exercise, or seek professional help if you think you need it.
My light bulb might go out. That happens. I change it to make sure I have more light. And so when I think about it from a very simplistic way, you don't need a crisis in order to talk to somebody.